So let me get this straight. They delay season 2 for a month, and we're getting the same amount of content that we got in season 1? Okay, let's talk about it. Hit the like button, hit the sub button. You know the buttons. You know where the buttons are. All right, we're here to talk about Battlefield Season 2. Freshly announced a trailer for a trailer. Let's just go over the trailer first. And guys, let's just pretend also that we didn't see this leaked on Reddit weeks ago. I'm now going to pretend like I've never seen this before. This is very clearly contaminated in the background. They're trying to build it up with like lore and like some sort of global government war crisis thing that no one cares about. Then we see very clearly contaminated in the background. That's what this map is. Again, we've seen this weeks ago and leaked on Reddit. Hopefully it's a good map. It looks to me like it's going to be very mountainous, very hilly, maybe a lot of tunnels in there. Who knows? Now getting into the stuff that actually matters, people are not having a great reception to this Season 2 announcement. If we take a look at the amount of content we're going to be getting in Season 2, it's going to be literally the exact same as Season 1, barring any surprises they have up their sleeve. It looks like we're going to be getting 2 maps, 3 weapons, 2 gadgets, a vehicle, a limited time event, whatever. We've seen this repeated again and again with Battlefield Live services over the years at this point. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where I come in here and to tell you, this is the reality of Battlefield Live service. Battlefield has been a live service game for the better part of a decade now. Actually, I think it's going on 8 years. And they continue to fumble the ball directly in front of us. And the worst thing about it is, it's so fucking predictable. Like, I was sitting here weeks ago, other people were sitting here weeks ago going, oh my god, oh, they delayed the game, better have 3 maps. Yeah, I mean, that's nice to think that, but they're never going to go above and beyond with this live service, guys. That's just the reality. The reality of the situation is, unless they make completely unbelievable changes to the way they deliver Battlefield content within the next 3 months, it's just going to be a drip feed content cycle. And it simply isn't good enough. It's just not. It doesn't satisfy everyone. The sentiment I've seen surrounding this announcement has been extremely negative so far, if you look in the comments. So in terms of the content for Season 2, I think we can just safely assume we're going to be getting the exact same content pacing as Season 1, and there's basically nothing we can do about it unless DICE has something up their sleeve. Now, in terms of the changes that are going to be coming in Season 2, they haven't released the patch notes yet. The patch notes will be releasing at a later date, but they did provide us with a community update, which I will now go over. And I have to say, even though the content is disappointing for Season 2, even before it releases, I do have to say some of the changes they're focusing on with Season 2 are good for the game. Like, this season, if they execute it properly with the changes, should be a net positive to the game itself. The first section they highlight here is significant updates coming in Season 2, and they say the first content update of Season 2 introduces Contaminated, which pretty much confirms that we're again going to be getting drip-fed maps throughout the season. We're going to be getting Contaminated first, and then another map later in the season. So right when Season 2 drops, we won't be getting 2 maps. We will have to wait for the second map. They then go on to list the important areas Season 2 will be focusing on. Number 1, they mention progression improvements across multiple areas. So the first thing they mention is broader challenge parameters. They say challenges have been streamlined by reducing the emphasis on highly mode-specific challenges, removing the daily sidearm challenge from regular rotation, and expanding criteria like allowing assists to count towards daily challenges. They'll continue to monitor completion rates and adjust challenge criteria where they feel too restrictive. The next thing they mention has to do with the Battle Pass. Faster Battle Passes. They say the progression has been adjusted to be more rewarding this season. This includes recalculating how Battle Pass tokens are earned from career XP, allowing you to earn progress more quickly through regular gameplay and weekly challenges. And the last thing they mention in regards to progression is career reward rebalance. And they say career and Battle Pass boosters were added to some earlier career ranks, particularly to better support players who focus on RedSec. This change helps progression feel meaningful, even when standard career unlocks such as gadgets, throwables, and loadout slots don't provide direct benefits in Battle Royale or Gauntlet. I don't know why it rubs me the wrong way, but them specifically mentioning people that focus on RedSec, it just like pisses me off slightly when I read it, because guess what? I don't think anyone cares about RedSec, okay? And I'm not saying I hate RedSec. I'm not saying it's like the worst thing ever. I'm just calling it like it is. Your player base doesn't care. I'm a Battlefield content creator. I have uploaded one RedSec YouTube video. Okay? If people cared about RedSec, I would probably upload it. Just saying. One thing I do want to point out here in regards to progression is they don't mention weapon progression anywhere in here. And that is one of the #1 things I see people frustrated with. So the fact that this post has a dedicated progression section and weapon progression isn't mentioned, that's just fucking crazy. But oh well, moving on, they do mention some very, very vague things coming up here. These next 2 paragraphs I'm going to harp on for just being incredibly vague, and we need the patch notes to fully understand what they actually mean. But starting this off with weapon balance and recoil improvements. They say recoil compensation has been made, quote, fully consistent, resulting in more predictable and reliable weapon handling. Building on this, automatic weapons have received a broad tuning pass to reinforce, quote, clarity and ensure weapons feel appropriately distinct across combat distances. Again, this is vague. This needs massive clarification. There are so many separate things here. Starting off with recoil compensation has been made fully consistent. What the fuck does that mean? Is that referring to the recoil mechanic that Drunksy mentioned a few months ago at this point? The recoil mechanic that messes with your aim while you're shooting, depending on the direction you're trying to aim in? Is that what that is referring to? And then later on in the paragraph, they say that automatic weapons have received a broad tuning pass. Okay, hopefully this will be detailed fully in the patch notes, but is this like a full weapon rebalance? Is this like a TTK shift? Like, what kind of tuning pass? The next paragraph has to do with player movement. They say soldier movement has been improved to feel more predictable and readable in fast-paced combat. This includes updated acceleration curves, smoother vaulting and ladder transitions, and fixes that reduce visual inconsistencies or unexpected behavior during traversal and close quarters interaction. Once again, quite vague. We're going to need very clear patch notes to know exactly what this did to the movement. All I'm going to say on this is, if they nerfed the movement in any way, shape, or form, I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Because they better not be listening to these Reddit crybabies that couldn't hang in any game they ever installed in their computer if their life depended on it. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Again, we need the patch notes. We need to play the actual patch when it comes out to figure out exactly what they did. All I'm saying is, Battlefield 6 has a gameplay depth issue already, and further reducing the skill gap and further reducing the amount of depth this game has in infantry gameplay is not the move. Now then, moving down this post, we have something that is just a positive for the game in general. Audio improvements. They say they have made audio improvements regarding its polish, clarity, readability. It has clearer sound cues for movement and footsteps to help with positioning, better handling of overlapping sounds, and more dependable playback of critical audio in busy combat scenarios. Absolute Omega W, fantastic. They then cap this section of this post off by saying they'll be sharing more details on the season's content with a full season roadmap by the end of the week, followed by a complete update notes covering all changes. The next section of this post is going over their ongoing development focus. They say that at the same time, they are working on a clear set of gameplay improvements that will continue rolling out over the course of the season and beyond. Current areas for improvement that are in active development include hit registration and netcode, ongoing recoil review, visibility, the ping system from applications, additional audio improvements, i.e. footsteps, and that they are targeting some of these improvements to be tested in Battlefield Labs for player-driven iteration and will be included throughout upcoming game updates once they are validated. They then go on to say that Battlefield Labs continues to be a very important part of how they test and iterate stuff they add into the game, and Battlefield Labs Season 2 will remain focused on combat feel, consistency, and balance. A huge paragraph that I think they probably should have included a little bit earlier follows this, and they say they are currently planning to test time to kill tuning with a focus on improving combat readability and consistency. The goal of this work is to require stronger aim accuracy from players and firing discipline in order to achieve the fastest possible time to kill. As part of this, DICE is looking at elements such as adding limb multipliers to the game, headshot damage, and the cost of ammunition types that enhance headshot effectiveness. if you've been subscribed to the channel and you've been watching the videos, you would know just a couple weeks ago, I detailed a plan from my friend Nickel that went over this exact plan for improving Battlefield 6's gameplay. Adding limb multipliers, addressing time to kill, making headshots actually matter. We can pretty much thank Nickel specifically for coming up with this idea, and honestly, I am absolutely shocked that DICE is actually doing this. If they make these changes and they make them very, very, dialed in, this will be an unbelievable addition to Battlefield 6 and will vastly improve the gameplay. And the final section has to do with the fact that they are apparently already testing Galmud Railway in Battlefield Labs. The initial reactions to this map have apparently been positive, particularly surrounding the scale and the flow of the map. The players are saying that it feels like the old Galmud Railway, but it still has something new to offer. And DICE is quick to remind us that Galmud Railway is still in active development and will continue to receive improvements. So there we have it for now. I'm going to be extremely interested in the specific details regarding the patch notes for this Season 2 update. Unfortunately, the content is just already not going to satisfy players. I don't really care how good these two maps that we'll be getting in Season 2 are. I think the novelty of these maps being new wears off for most players in about a week's time. The fact of the matter is, 2 maps per season just simply doesn't tide people over. It doesn't satisfy people. And keep in mind, this is the biggest Battlefield Studios has ever been. There are a ton of studios working on this game, and the Battle Pass just doesn't give us what we need. Like, the Battle Pass cost, what, $10 or something? Battlefield Pro cost, what, like 25 bucks? We only get 2 maps, 2 weapons, a vehicle, and whatever else. Didn't Premium back then cost like $15 and we got 4 maps per each DLC drop? And it was guaranteed, and they announced it before the game was even released? Unfortunately, I just think this is the reality of modern gaming. It's kind of just like real life. Everything is getting shittier and shittier by the day. We pay more for things, we get less, and it happens less often, and there are delays. It's just a shit show. So, I don't know, guys. I'm left feeling extremely conflicted with Season 2. I hope the content is good. I don't think the amount of content is going to satisfy people. I think the changes actually sound pretty promising, but we need further details and specifics because it could easily go downhill if some of the changes they made are just detrimental to the gameplay experience. I'll end this video off by saying, overall, the most exhausting thing about Battlefield 6 so far is just, like, sitting here, actively watch them fumble what they could have had. Like, they literally had a slam dunk, and now they just don't. Because the content pacing just fucking sucks, and the way they handle this live service simply isn't good enough. So be sure to let me know what you guys think about all this stuff. Obviously, I will be making videos covering every single thing that comes out about Season 2, the patch notes, of course, my first impressions on everything. So if you want to see that, hit the sub button, and also swing by the streams where I give you my live first impressions of everything. All links are in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.